Rolling.
Hey, if you clicked on this video, chances are you're a coach, consultant, or a home service-based business owner. And what you're about to experience is a conversation that myself and Omar El Takori had over how you can take your expertise and turn it into income. Now, most people have to pay up to $20,000 for this conversation specifically to be in this mastermind. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna pull back the curtain and let you in on a sneak peek conversation that's a 6, 7, and even multiple 8-figure conversation. So if you're a consultant and you're looking to take your business to the next level, take a listen to this video.
Like for other people? Or
Yeah, so I do.
are we good or what?
Yeah, you guys are rolling.
Oh yeah, okay, sick. Yeah, but yeah, let me know.
So I have a lead gen agency that I run for life insurance agents as one piece of my business. And then I coaches, experts, home service businesses, how to productize their business. So I had a book coming out first of this month called Productize, how to turn your skills, expertise, and knowledge into a one-person business model, which is leveraging personal brand and setting up client acquisition systems, leveraging social media. And so when I went to the podcast summit, that's really when it really was dawned on me. There were so many people trying to do stuff, right? They were like, I'm trying to launch this, I'm trying to do this. And as we're going through and talking to people, I'm like, well, why are they just trying? It's because they lacked clarity on who they're talking to or the message. It was like, I'm helping this person do this and that through this and that. And it was like this long-winded type of thing. I was like, oh, they don't have clarity because that's why they aren't taking action.
Right.
And so I'm like, oh, I can help some of these people because I worked in the service, in the life insurance space, which is like the hardest industry to get results in because it's just difficult. It's like 92% of life insurance agents fail. So I'm like, well, there's principles here. If I can help those people, I can definitely help a barber or online personal fitness person or videographers scale their business because they just don't have clarity on how to not just be the doer, how to like productize their business in that space. So that's what I'm doing.
So you want to
now.
go in on that? I know I got notes from Sophie. The notes I got was like leveraging paid ads and like millionaire mindset. Or do we want to go productize stuff?
What do you think?
It's funny because like I do this every time, and that's what the response is. If I was doing what you were doing, because you're gonna do Saturday. Saturday is like, it's almost the same thing, because there'll be a content coach, and then they'll just like pull out the stuff. I would use this opportunity if I were me, as just like, let's just unpack literally everything in your business.
Yeah.
And it's like a coach. Let's do a live coaching, and it's captured in a really cool way. Or I interview you.
I think so. One of the things that I love, what I talked to Sophie about, was I want to do that. But in regards to like, you help highlight the genius of people and kind of bring that out and sharing the story and asking the questions, just having more of an organic conversation.
Yeah.
Just in regards to that, I think that would help me in the long term more than the coaching session, because I do have one of those also.
Yeah.
I don't know how you feel about that.
No, done. But my thing is like, because if I want this to, obviously the goal is that this serves you at the highest level.
Yes.
What emphasis do you want to be? Do you want you to be the emphasis, or the thing you help people do be the emphasis?
I think me being the emphasis in my story and talking through that, and then what it actually is that I help people with, kind of leading out of that.
Yeah.
Like what it is and unpacking that.
So good. All right, let's run it. So, when did you know you were supposed to be an entrepreneur?
So that's super funny because I didn't realize I was supposed to be an entrepreneur until I was 35 years old.
And what was that moment or that year?
So this was probably 2018. And I'm waiting tables, and I'm just frustrated, and I can't realize why I'm just malcontent, because I'm usually a pretty happy person, and everything sucks to me in my mind. It's just like I'm just burnt out, and my mom gets sick. I have to move her to Chicago move her to Nashville from Chicago, because that's where I'm living at the time, and then she's not doing well, and my wife's like, take her to church, and so I end up taking her to church, and it's the pastor's anniversary, and one of my friends just happened to be there I went to college with, and he's looking like $1 million. He's looking great. and I'm kind of just going through it. In a rut, waiting tables. My mom's not doing well. She's been my superhero, and I'm seeing life just really kick me in the gut. And he's like, yeah, come holler at me after this. He gave me his business card, and I was like, okay. So I was like, whatever he's doing, I want to do that. Anything looked better than what I was doing.
Based on how he looked.
Correct.
What was he wearing?
He had on a suit. His hair was looking great, and then the vibe that he had, he just looked so happy compared to how I felt at the time.
He had aura.
Yes.
As the young people say.
And I knew him from college, so we kind of hit it off. And I was really just trying to, anything sounded better than the opportunity that I had. And I knew where I wasn't serving me anymore, and I just was looking for a change. So at that moment, anything looked like a better opportunity than what I had. And it happened to be life insurance that he was selling. And I had been a life insurance agent before, probably I think I got licensed back in like 2004, but I was like in my 20s, and I wasn't really taking entrepreneurship serious. I didn't have the discipline and the personal development, so I was still waiting tables, so I had a safety net, so I wasn't really all in. And then, I got licensed, basically, and then I realized why I quit the first time. They didn't have a predictable system or process to get leads. It's like you need a Power 200, which is a list of your friends and family that you make a list of, and then you need to market to those people because that's your warm market. And then after that, it's like resorting to cold calling or dialing out of the phone book. And that's when I realized, oh, nobody solved this problem. So I'm like 30 something at this year. So all the other young guys are just doing that and they're drinking the Kool-Aid. And I'm like, why has nobody else tried to solve this? So I went on a mission to try to figure out how to leverage social media to get clients, right? It's 3 billion people online. I'm like, there's got to be a better way than just banging out this list. Because if you call it on Monday, you call it on Wednesday, right? But on Thursday, you don't have anybody to call. You're looking at the same list. I'm like, well, this isn't going to work. And I'm not making any sales from people in my family because they know I just started selling insurance.
Dang.
So I ended up taking a course from Sam Ovens. And he was my very first mentor. He taught me digital marketing. And then I applied that to use lead generation. And from there, I started an agency to do lead generation for life insurance agents. And I solved that problem. And like my first 5 clients were like from the firm that I worked at that time. So that's kind of how that started.
And then, so what was the thing? Like, what was the missing link, or what's the thing that you created that allowed to create predictable clients?
Yeah, again, so the only way that they were taught to do it was friends and family and word of mouth and relying on referrals. So there was no digital presence. Back then, insurance agents were just going person to person or door to door. So I implemented using content and paid advertising.
Both organic and paid.
Yeah, so again, trial and error, right? You try it for free, and then once something hits, then you can turn it into an ad, right? And so when I first started, I had this tool that would do automated messages during LinkedIn.
Dang.
Right? So we started with that, but then the Chrome extension got banned by LinkedIn, so that wouldn't work. So then I had to go to paid ads. And once I learned how to run Facebook ads from Sam Ovens, like that's the best course anybody's ever taken. In fact, Iman Gaji bought the company to give that to all of his customers because that was just like the best course out there.
Oh, wow.
And
how much did that course cost?
So it was $2,000. And when I got it, I was still waiting tables. I had to borrow $900 to my mom and do split payments of $600 for 5 payments, which came out to $3,000. And the reason why I borrowed $900 was because I didn't know if it was going to work. So I had half the payment for the next month that I only had to come up with $300 at that time.
You found the money to come up with it because you believed that if you learned this skill.
Yes.
How long did it take for you to recoup your investment and get your ROI on your first?
So off the 3,000 total, it probably took me 3 months.
3 months?
Yeah.
And then everything else from that point is all gravy.
Yeah, for sure.
Did that break a belief though?
The belief was broken when I paid him from somebody online that I never met. It was broken. And the thing that broke it though wasn't him, it was the testimonials.
Dang.
So there was one 19-year-old kid that was helping life insurance agents. And then there was a guy that was 45 years old that was a retired insurance agent. And then there was a guy that was like German or something that didn't really speak good English. And they were making like $10,000, $20,000 a month. And at that time, that amount of money per month was, I didn't believe it. And so what I did was I would watch those testimonials every single night before I went to bed, just trying to brainwash myself into like, if they can do it, I can do it. And then finally I got the courage, and I was like, okay, this is my shot. I need to do it. And I bought the course.
That's fire. So you said you're testing content, and then when it worked really well, you then put ads. What was like the first few content pieces you created that did really well organically that crushed it as a paid ad?
Yeah, so inside the course, Sam Ovens taught direct response copy. And so he kind of gave some frameworks of stuff. So the very first ones that worked were still images with a paragraph, like a long sales page copy. And so all I did was, so one of the guys that was a testimonial was a star student. It was a case study. All I did was funnel hack his stuff. Took his story out and put mine in it, changed his image out with mine or that person, and it worked at that time. Because back then you could just throw up anything on Facebook and it would just work. And so I just modeled what was already working. I just reverse engineered some of his success students. And so it was a still image with just some long copy.
And then, so you're in the insurance game. Are you still selling insurance to get to like make money, or did you when did you transition, or is it still the same right now?
Yeah, so great question. So I tried it for myself first, and then once it worked, I was like, oh, this is great. I went from like making no money to like having like 26 sales in a month, and like making some commissions. And then I get a knock on my office door, like, hey man, congratulations, you like rookie of the month or whatever. But he's like, we noticed that you're using social media and posting stuff online. You can't do that. And so now I got a decision to make, which is continue doing it the way I'm doing and having success, or stop doing it and go back to the way it was. And I wasn't making any money. So the only option I had was to make a decision, which was I was going to stay there or leave. And obviously I left. And that was the fire that I needed to. I needed that reason, because that day I had just made a $6,000 sale. So I was going to get commission $3,000, which was like, I got it. And I needed that. And I had to leave it on the table, which was so hard, but I knew it was like, it was something that was going to keep me stuck. Because then I would have been thinking, what if I can make this work instead of, I needed to switch vehicles, basically. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. Why can't insurance people make content?
Well, they can, but that's just not the primary thing that they care about the most. The thing that they care about the most is leads. They only care about leads. Like all the things that I talk about now, we're excited to talk about funnels and marketing and persuasion. I just need leads, man. That's all I need. So at that point, I'm like, okay, well, this is easy. It's easy to sell them. It's easy to market to them. And they're all perpetual buyers because it solves a perpetual problem for them. So as long as they need leads and they're unwilling to learn how to do it themselves or do the content, I've always got a customer.
So good. So then you transition and start an agency.
Correct. Start an agency. And then I'm a new business owner. So after I get to probably like 10, 12K a month, I'm running into another problem, which is I'm a one-man band with the virtual assistant. And my skills are just limited to how much I can market. And I'm trying to scale so fast that I'm just reinvesting everything back into the business. So I'm probably running at like 10% margins, because I'm literally in my mind just trying to get to that $10,000 a month so I can say that and like be another testimonial. You know what I mean? So I'm literally just trying to prove everybody wrong and myself right at this point. But I'm running into this problem that I now have a fulfillment issue, and I'm spending so many hours answering text messages and emails and calls, like my business is a mess. And then Sam Ovens has another program called Up Level that teaches you how to turn your service-based business into a digital product. So now I'm reverse engineering and recording my screen and everything. And so I think it was January of 2020, I stopped taking on agency clients, and then I started marketing to that I can show them how to do it themselves. So I get one guy's like, all right, this is a new special. I'll do it for $500. This is going to be $2,000, but I'll do it for you for $500. He was kind of my guinea pig. And so I would just teach him how to do it. And then I was building my product with him. And so then from there on, I just kind of productized my service, which is how I came up with the book thing. So that's kind of that story.
So anyone who has a service-based business can productize their business. making them no longer need to do their business or do less of it.
Right.
So I just got my house cleaned today. Are you telling me our cleaners can productize their business?
So you could productize pieces of it. Again, I'm thinking of specific types of businesses.
Oh,
right?
You said barber.
Yeah. So
Okay, yeah.
So in a sense, here's how you can productize the barber business, right? So there's this one guy that's doing like $100,000 a month as a barber. So he raised his prices and he first showed barbers how to get to $6,000 to $10,000 a month by raising their prices and starting to post content. And he had an agency that was kind of doing it for them. And then he productized his service, starting to teach people how to build a personal brand as a barber. So for some people, you maybe not be able to digitize the service that you do, the thing, but she could probably teach people how to get happy customers or to get new clients and get referred from other people with the business, or she could sell some type of other thing. Again, the whole purpose of the productize thing is to open the mind to the possibilities of things that you can do.
Yeah, would you say that this is what it is said differently? It's going from B2C to creating a B2B.
100%.
Yeah. Because like when I was doing work with Think Media, their most expensive product was a $1,000 online course, lifetime access. And then I meet a guy, his name is David Amari, and he teaches YouTube automation, which his program, he ran a challenge and like his offer was like 30 grand. But the difference was just simply that he was selling a business in a box as opposed to the service, which is kind of like, it's just a different way of thinking.
Yeah.
Okay, but here's what I'm noticing is happening, and I want you to break it. A lot of people want to do that, but they're not making $100,000 in their chair, proverbially, like in their lane. Like they're not good. What do you tell somebody who's just like, you're in the season of getting proof and building your business? Because like right now, everybody wants to make money online.
Yeah.
And they're like, I don't know what I want to be known for. I do this, but I want to do this. And then it's like, why don't you just teach people how you do this? But then they don't even do this really well.
Yeah. So the first thing is get good at a thing, right? I've been a great student of Myron Golden, and one of my favorite things that he says is achieving mastery, which is to effortlessly execute without the use of conscious resources, which that only comes from repetition of action, putting in the work. So first thing is get good at a thing first, right? And solve the problem for yourself, get really good at it. And then a lot of times in the space, there's people that are like 1 to 2 steps behind you that are just looking to like get to that next step. We're entrepreneurs. Not everybody has the same ambition to get to $100,000 a month. When I first started, I just wanted to make $6,000. I wanted to make more. I wanted to make $2,000 more than I was making waiting tables, right? That just gave me the freedom. I just wanted to be like, I left that industry, because a lot of people don't leave the service industry. They stay in it 30, 40 years old because it's easy, the money's fast, and it's just enough to keep you, you got a little bit of money left over. It just keeps you in that comfortable cycle.
Yep.
So in the beginning, $6,000 a month was a lot. You know what I mean? Now we got these video game numbers making $100,000, $200,000 a month, which is insane. But that's game changing for some people. So just helping somebody with having a process to make a couple extra $1,000 a month is huge.
It's huge. How did you expand your mind over the years? Like you're already in business, and you go from 10 grand a month and scaling that.
Yeah.
Like, that is a belief, process.
Yeah. So, I'm always like trying to borrow beliefs from other people. That's why I asked you all these questions. So I'm like looking at everything. I literally have a folder of like all the things that I see from your content that's like a 1 step or 2 ahead of me. So I'm very curious about those things.
What are those things?
So one of them is, the space, right? The way you have the content, how you run the business, having workshops here. That's been a dream of mine for a long time, is to have Sam Ovens used to have these masterminds where it was like a room full of people to teach to. Cole Gordon was in the room, and like a lot of William Brown, who's a huge person now. A lot of these guys, we all came up in that Sam Ovens era. And so trying to do that now is something that I'm looking forward to. So I'm always curious about doing that and how you get people in the room. And for what I was doing before with the insurance agents, that's not a thing that they hold as something valuable. They've kind of like a solopreneur, and they just want to like make the sales, make 10 grand a week, make 40 grand a month. 10 of that goes, $10,000 is what they pay me a month, goes to leads. I got 30 of profit, maybe net is what is like 25K, and they're happy with that, which is cool because that keeps the lights on. But I want to help people that are a little bit more ambitious, or they kind of want to scale, to utilize my skill set a little bit more.
Yeah. So now you're doing 6-figure months. What does your team look like, or what does it look like growing as a CEO, hiring people? Because one of the biggest challenges most people have is inherently they're not good leaders. And you think by just hiring and dumping things on people, and then you experience churn and all that stuff. So how many people work for you now, and what was the process of like learning the culture you were establishing or the values you wanted to implement?
So to answer that question, I'll take a step back. So I learned in the service industry what good culture and bad culture was like working in a restaurant, right? So at the restaurant that I worked at, we were all kind of veteran servers. So the servers kind of ran the place. And so I realized when you have good people, right, like it makes the business easy, or it feels easy to run, because you don't have to worry per se about, every little thing, which you can't in a business.
Can you define what good people are?
Yeah, so good people are someone that you train a certain way to do it, and they're able to execute on that whether you're there or not, and deliver at a high level. So my very first hire was a virtual assistant, and she's been with me for 5 years at this point.
That's awesome.
And best hire I made, because that made me become a better leader, because now I had to show up for the meetings every day. I had to have work for her to do, so I had to create some stuff. And then I had to start putting SOPs in place and all of that stuff. Because I always say that leadership is learned on the job, right? And so with that, it allowed me to become a better leader. But your business is only gonna thrive and grow around the quality of the people that you hire, right?
So good.
I think Alex Hormozy said he had a problem with growing his business. They just kept hovering around the same number. And then a mentor asked him, he was like, well, you have this client acquisition system over here. Show me your talent acquisition system. And he didn't have one. And so they had to like restructure everything and build this system, because it's hard to find good people. Good people are hard to find. And so that just takes a process, and then taking people through a process. So if I hire somebody, the first thing I'm doing is giving them obviously having them send out an application, but then I have them take like a Myers-Briggs test so I can understand them on a deeper level. From there, and then they do a pre-interview, and then I'll interview them. And then I always let my God-given intuition, that never steers you wrong either. Is this a good fit? Can I see myself being around this person for a long time? If I'm on a flight from New York to California, would I enjoy talking with them, right? Like those things are important. And from there, that's the closest you can get, because people are professional interview goers, right? But that sense will give you a good litmus test for hiring somebody good. So anyways, I only have one like actual full-time person, which is like a, what's the word for it? Like a client success manager, but he's also a 1099. So I technically don't have any W-2 employees in my business.
That's fire.
And that's the way I run it and keep it lean.
Yeah. What made you go that route?
It's just the model that I learned. It seemed to be the most predictable from Sam Ovens, right? He was like, you can hire 1099s, and you can either do profit share or revenue share in that capacity. And if you find one good person, they can replace 3 to 5. And so I went through a couple iterations of hiring, and it didn't work until I decided like the best person on my team that was kind of already stepping up, I kind of gave that person some responsibility. He was like, leading the sales team meetings, and he and I were good friends, and he just took ownership and had great integrity. He never left anybody hanging too. He was always making sure everything was sewn up, and that's just kind of he kind of got thrust into that role, and he thrived in it.
That's good. Leadership is learned on the job. Dude, I learned that I found with culture and leadership, people love the topic. There's people that just are culture snobs or leadership snobs. But when it comes to applying it, which is where it actually matters, it doesn't really happen because they think they're applying it by saying it. By talking about here's the culture or talking about here's how to be a great leader, that means you're leading. Something I have defined culture in any organization is subculture. Whatever the culture is, it's not what you say it is. The culture is what is.
Right.
So when the door closes and the CEO leaves the room, what conversation's happening there? That's the culture.
Right.
Or even how people feel. That's the leadership. That the leadership, they say, Craig Rochelle, I believe, says, no one leaves bad organizations.
No one leaves bad organizations.
They leave poor management. So it doesn't matter how big or small a company is, you're not leaving the company, you're leaving poor management. So when people are poorly managed, they tend to look elsewhere.
Yeah.
But that's why it's business is a game of people in every capacity.
Yeah, I mean, and all of it is, my mentor says, is you don't need more money, you need more people, right? And the people lead to the money because his other saying is money changes hands when problems are solved. So solve enough people's problems, you get compensated for it.
Yeah. So where are you at in this season now? What's the goal now?
So the season right now is I'm looking to impact and inspire entrepreneurs at this stage. So I still have my agency for the lead gen because that's just something that's really easy to me. Yeah. And honestly, most people are taking advantage of insurance agents, just tell them that they can help them do all this stuff and not really deliver something high quality. And it's just really easy for me, and my clients just get phenomenal results. Had a 19-year-old kid wrote $177,000 in life insurance premium, and he gets paid 1-to-1 on that. So 19 years old, making $170,000 in a month,
Crazy.
$1 million in his first year. I probably got 122 testimonials just documented on my YouTube channel, and then impacted probably 1,200 independent insurance agents and 500 agencies doing that. That's attributed to probably $110 million of issue paid business, which means commission paid out sales.
Crazy.
And it's just running, right? And the guy on my team, he really helps make sure the clients are good. And if the ads are running, clients are getting good results, and we're serving them at the highest level, it doesn't make any sense to stop that, because then that just kind of hurts, and that hurts the agent. So I'm still running that. And then
why not just super scale that?
That's everyone who has not ever been in an insurance agency done that. I've tried it for 7 years. Masterminds, teaching them this, going into coaching, they have no interest in it whatsoever.
No way. That's
none.
Crazy.
Right? I could literally say, hey, you're paying me $10,000 a month, so you pay me $120,000 a year. Why not just pay me $10,000 one time, and I can show you and set this up for you, and you can do it yourself? And they don't want to do it. They don't want to manage it. It's frustrating for them. And they're like, dude, I don't care about this. Can I just pay you to do it for me? And it's just how it works. It's so interesting. And then also, it's not fulfilling just to talk about leads all the time when there's so many other things you need in the business besides leads. Yeah. That's like step one. And there's just so many more people that I feel like I can help with the skills that I have.
No, dude. So what comes to mind is, well, number one, I'd like to know what these killer young dudes do on the phone, because they have to convert these leads.
Yeah.
What have you seen with these young kids making millions of dollars, closing like crazy?
They're just being super relatable, which is like, hey, Miss Patty, I'm sitting here, I'm playing a little bit of 2K right now, and my job isn't to try to sell you anything. I'm literally here, and they'll turn the camera on. Look, I'm in a hoodie and sweats. I'm just here getting back to you for the form that you filled out from the ads that I ran.
And I'm just curious about why you filled this out. Tell me a little bit more about that. They're literally just being a person and not a salesperson to that person, which immediately builds that trust. And it's also like, hey, you have a problem. I'm just here to try to solve that for you in a nonchalant way. And then they're kind of, the leads are so good in their words that they're just assuming the sale and just taking them through a process. What's got you filling this form out? You know, why now? What's top of mind? What things are going on in your life that make you think that you need this right now? What's happened? So they're getting at why, and then it's like, okay, well, what, you know, have you tried this before in the past, or, you know, have you worked with anybody else? And then they're like, okay, well, this isn't something that you can just get. You have to qualify for it. So let's see if we can get you qualified. You know, I'm not making any promises, but here are the 3 things that we're going to need. They walk them through that. And now, again, they're into the process of filling out the application. They start asking the health questions. And then for a life insurance agent, there's something where they can like get the policy issued right then. Mm-hmm. So if you're an independent insurance agent, that's how they're able to do that, because they're a broker. They can sell anybody's product. And so there's certain products that, for the type of insurance that they sell, they can get it issued then, which means they get commissioned within 48 hours. So you pair good leads with a personable strategy to close sales, extreme work ethic, because he's 19, he can work as much as he wants. That's how you print cool. $170,000 in a month.
So fire. Dude, I mean, okay, so something comes to mind when it comes to either the offer that is for the people who want to productize their stuff. Mm-hmm. But I think about creating an experience for the people that mm-hmm. are your clients.
Yeah.
But one of the guys that comes to mind is Carter Cofield, mm-hmm. who at its core is a CPA. Like that's who he is. But he's turned that service into a high-level mastermind, and he's attached experiences to it, and he brings voices where you say like, yeah, that's like all they care about is like the leads, but like what would happen if they got in a room and you know, number one, celebrated them, maybe gave them like an award.
Yeah, they do. They get this little plaque that when they hit $100,000 a month, they get a gold plaque, because I'm from Nashville, so they get the gold record. So it kind of looks like the ClickFunnels thing.
Yeah. So so if you ever get them in person for whatever reason, mm-hmm. just sometimes it's just for branding.
Yeah.
It's literally just like, how do you fill a room? Well, I got clients that are winning like mm-hmm. crazy, and then it's like you bring in some killer salespeople and like gas them up, and just like, yeah, guys, just wanted to bless you. I just think about that being like a nice
that's
value
a good
add.
idea.
But that footage then sells the actual like mastermind. Mm. So you can have people who are in your agency come to that stuff, and you can also have people who are part of the coaching. Because I don't know if you've ever seen me break down the Empire ecosystem.
No, I haven't.
Yeah, the Empire ecosystem is when this is how you like dominate an industry.
Okay.
You have a service
mm-hmm.
or agency, then you have a product, and then you have a certification. So, and I figured this out when I helped a local business with their business. They sold their own lash supplies. They had their own lash artists that they trained up, and then they provided the service locally. And like they had their education sold the supply, brand awareness. So even if you weren't a part of like their company, that you could still do the lashes and stuff.
Right.
But dude, they were doing $1 million a month. It's crazy.
That's insane.
With lashes.
With lashes.
Like lash extensions.
Yeah, and those things aren't cheap too. So I know that my daughter just graduated from the hair school, and she's like, yeah, people who do those lashes get paid.
Yeah, they do really well. It's a reoccurring client.
Yes. So one falls out, they got to come back.
Yeah, and then the products need to be refilled. Everything's consumable, so it's fire. But I found that like anyone could do this. Mm-hmm. You know, you got the agency, and that can just do its thing.
Yeah.
And like now there's like this other wing, even though it's not like directly related. But I definitely see it's not too far of a pivot to start building, because I think we can all eventually get to the Empire ecosystem. You know.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that's kind of why Podcast Summit kind of sparked this too, because the clarity thing and having like a proven system, like the ads and then like VSL funnels, like that's just something like I'm a master at. That's super easy. It's really easy for me that if somebody's already has something that's kind of working, they've kind of got a couple customers, or it's not as profitable or working as well. It's easy for me to pinpoint and solve that problem for them.
Okay, so let's first start. You said it's easy. Like, what makes a great ad?
So hook, story, offer, right? So you have to have something that stops people in their track from scrolling to click on yours, and you need a visual and a verbal hook, right?
Okay, give me an example of like one that like recently, maybe a client, or like one that you saw that was like killer.
So I think the something that attributed to the $100 million of issue pay business was for 2 years. I created a niche for veterans to sell veteran life insurance. And a guy who was a client of mine had an ad that was it was kind of working, but the aha that I had was he only had like $5 on it, and it was still getting leads for like 50 cents. So I'm like, let me take a look at this. And it was a print ad though. A print ad meaning it was an image with text. We call it a print ad. And so I took that, and then I'm like, this is the veterans. So I'm like, okay, we got the niche. I'm like, what's the problem that they're solving? Is that the VA doesn't cover everything for them, and they think it does. So when someone passes, they think that their spouse or their partner is going to get covered by the VA to cover their final expenses. So it's a final expense insurance. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So what I realized is the hook is that the VA isn't going to cover all your expenses. So I'm calling out that false belief that they have that gets their attention. And then if you're a veteran, stop scrolling. The VA is not going to cover all your expenses. So that would get the veteran's attention. And that just absolutely crushed. And I probably had 10 to 20 insurance agents doing between $40,000 to $100,000 a month and like commissions take home every single month.
Crazy.
And so that hook was working tremendous. So I always like pick one like vertical and just go deep on that. And so it was like final expense to just like seniors, and then, hey, if you're over 65 and you got COPD, you can get some coverage. That was like one. And then I found the final expense for veterans. Hey, if you're a veteran, stop scrolling. The VA is not going to cover all your final expenses. And then kind of give them a couple bullet points on why and what they can do. So if you're a veteran, click the link below. And so now we're doing index universal life ads for our clients. These young guys are selling, which is like high ticket life insurance. Wow. That's why he's able to write that. And so having that hook, story, offer is the framework that's working.
And then when it comes to a VSL or video sales letter, what have you found works really well when you make one?
So again, it's the same framework. I think for a VSL, what I think works the best is like just teaching it like it's just a case study, right? So you're using a hook in the beginning, and then you're sharing your 2 to 3 best case studies, and you're just really showcasing them. So the only thing you want to do is do like a mini perfect webinar script, which works well, which is you got a hook or an intro, and then you want to like have 3 secrets that you kind of tell them, right? And all you're doing is breaking beliefs. You're not actually teaching anything. It's like an internal and external in the vehicle scenario. So it's the same one. It's only 10 to 12 minutes though. And then at the end, you're sharing the case studies to drive their story is what drives the point home, right? So for example, if I'm speaking to life insurance agents and it's like relying on cold calling, door knocking, and referrals is going to keep you struggling in your business. And so, here's why door knocking doesn't work. So I'm talking about one strategy. And then I'm talking about the belief is that you believe this, you believe that this works. And the reason why it's not working is because insurance companies provide the leads, they're reselling them. So you're doing X, Y, Z. So that's the second point. And then the thing is you need to switch to a new model, which is you need to stop buying from lead vendors and you need to own your own system. And then I just give them case studies of 3 people that's kind of going through there. And the reason why VSL works so well is because you're just trying to open their mind to a possibility and implant some doubt of what they already believe as a suspicion, and then point them in a direction to hop on a call. And the reason why VSL works so well and it's the easiest thing to set up is because it's only got 4 pages and you can create a video. And my first video made me $1.8 million and it was absolutely terrible. High ceilings with a lav mic, and it was really bad with slides because I was hopping on sales calls, right? So when you hop on sales calls, you can record them and you can listen to them and get feedback and reiterate them. So I just had a notebook that all the objections that I couldn't answer, I would do that. If you have 4 calls, you start realizing the calls are all the same and they only care about these 3 things and they only have 3 objections: price, timing, and then spouse. Exactly. So when, again, it's the same thing. All sales calls are the same.
Yeah.
And so at that point, now with AI, the AI thing transcribes it. They can redo your sales script for you. Right. And handle the objection better than you could even think of, with stories that drive the point home. And it's just more beginner friendly in that capacity, because if you're trying to do webinar or a challenge, right, like a lot of moving parts, but you also got to be able to persuade people at a high level and call out those things and be a master communicator. But this allows you to just hop on the phone, use a question-based framework. The only thing you really need to do is have the 3 pillars pitch, which kind of talks about your program at a high level, and then just answer their objections as they come up. And what happens on the sales call in this capacity is the client will ask you the questions that they need answered until they're exhausted from questions. And then it only comes down to, okay, so how much does this cost? Does that make sense?
Right.
So instead of me doing all the talking, I'm asking them questions. And then I explain to them how this works. And then I let them ask questions and I answer them short and sweet. So I'm doing the minimum amount of talking, and I let them continue to ask questions until they're exhausted, until the only question left reasonably is, how much does this cost? Because what happens in there, if you're really listening, you're thinking about all the things that they care about by the questions that they ask.
Right.
And that's what's important to them. Instead of you telling them you get this and you get that and you get this and you're over pitching, they'll ask you specific questions that if you answer those in a matter-of-fact way with confidence, and after you've done it for a while, you kind of know this, that you'll resolve those, and then they'll find, like, okay, how much does it cost? And now they've come up with the reason in their mind why they think they need this, and they'll buy it.
Yeah, so good. So they sell themselves.
Yeah.
Okay, what would you say with people wanting to make money online? What is typically their biggest mistakes when they're crafting their product or their offer that they want to sell?
Talking, not niching down, 100%. That's like the biggest mistake, because it's the belief that they think they're losing out on talking to everybody by doing that.
So how does somebody figure out their niche?
Yeah. Thank God for Sam Ovens, right? He thought about all of this and solved everybody's problems. So there's literally a Venn diagram that he says, which is what things are you really good at? What industries do you know? And what is the things that you talk about the most? And in there is your zone of kind of genius for your niche. And so he goes through this process where it's like, look at your YouTube search history, look at your emails, ask your partners and spouse, what are the things that you talk about the most that you won't shut up about? What are the things that you're the most knowledgeable about? In there is some passion and some skill and some knowledge that you can package as some expertise to kind of figure out what your niche is, or teach your past self, right? That's always the best thing to do is do that.
Yeah, no, it's good. Yeah, because like a lot of the times what people tend to do is they see somebody at a very further down the road place in their career or journey or a brand, and they look pretty general from this distance, and they're winning with their general content.
What do you mean general?
Like that these personalities or personal brands cover a myriad of things.
Like their marketing message is very general.
Yes.
Okay. Like I want to help people explore this, and they're like the very expressive type of one-liners that people have about helping people get into the authentic thing.
Yeah.
And you're like, what does that even mean?
No, yeah, and it's just like, or if you follow somebody that has millions of followers right now, they can talk about anything and it does really well.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is they got there to be able to talk about more general things or be generalized. The thing about when people start is they feel like they're trying to find their version of that now.
Yeah. Okay, now I understand.
Yeah.
Yes, because you're looking at chapter 10 when you're in chapter 1, right?
Right.
Which is everybody the riches are in the niches in the beginning because you just have to solve one person's problem. That's why it works so well, niching down.
Yeah.
It's very simple. One product, one problem, one solution. And focus on getting that one person the best results. So now you got one case study and you can rinse and repeat. That's like, in the beginning, that's the first goal. It's not to make money. You should be trying to get that first case study. When somebody else will hop on Zoom and tell you the result that they got, that's worth millions of dollars. And that's what I did.
Boom. Boom. Dude, I mean, honestly, sometimes like the coach calls are just like multiple $1 million of like wins and stuff. Okay, so this is actually something I actually wonder. I don't do the best job at hopping on separate Zoom calls and then extracting those testimonials. Probably should do that. And what would you say is a great framework for that conversation?
Yes, it's very, very simple too. So the first thing is being intentional, because you always talk about being intentional. Mm-hmm. I would love to be a case study for you, right? So asking someone that you've gotten a result for, hey, would you be okay with just hopping on Zoom and we want to kind of share your story? Yes. And then you go into the what their life was before they started, how it went, and then what it's like after. And then the final question is, most people are skeptical of this, as you probably were. What would you say to somebody that's on the fence or even thinking, considering joining this program? Absolute gold. Made $10 million off of like those testimonials on my YouTube channel. That simple framework. What was that like before, during, and after? And then what would you say, now knowing what you know, to somebody else that's on the fence, that's skeptical? You have to say the skeptical part, that's on the fence and thinking about joining something like this. Absolutely crushes.
So good. Gonna implement that immediately.
And you will be shocked at how many people, like, hey, I'm looking for some testimonials, and just send somebody a direct message too. It's so good that they will be happy to do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we got tons. Dude, that's so good. So now with this book that you're releasing, like next month, you said?
Yeah, so I've been working on the book for a while, and I was kind of just putting it on the back burner. But when I went to the podcast summit, it really just, you ever been to something or experience happen to you where it just kind of changes you, where it just kind of, you just gets all your focus, where you're just like, this is the thing I need to like focus on in this season.
Yesterday I was in Boise with Russell Brunson, and I did my thing, let people know what works and what could work for them, and then asked what can I do. And Myron was like, Omar, you need a book. Like, stop playing games. Stop doing all the other stuff. Don't like venture out in anything. Like, you need a book.
What's the gentleman's name that he used a lot? He teaches you how to write a book. Myron Golden refers to his key person of something.
Daniel Priestley.
Yes, there's a YouTube video where he walks through the entire thing that is a masterclass on why you need to do a book. So that was the first thing that inspired me at the beginning of the year. But then I put it off. Right. And then going to a podcast summit, I was like, oh my goodness, I can help so many people with this optimization type strategy. And I really enjoy that. Like, for example, if somebody's in a different industry, like I'm such a nerd, I love doing all the research and building this whole entire ecosystem for them.
That's
like,
so good.
I literally helped him build. I was like, dude, this paper is worth $1 million. I just built you an end-to-end $1 million business. I did it for the guy who cuts my hair. I was like, here's how you can make $10,000 a month, or how you can make $1 million teaching this once you master it. I built him one. This young gentleman that came to the podcast summit that sells the hats, the young kid, I don't know if you got a chance to meet Cedric, but he's 17 years old, got shot at when he was 16, gave his life to God, and now he has those hats, with God, I'm nothing. His name's Cedric the Businessman.
Okay.
And so doing $20,000 a month selling hats, right? And so the reason I was going to all that is like, I just got really inspired by going to Podcast Summit, but that's the thing that I feel the most alive doing, which is just helping people with these strategies to get back their time, but also step into their expertise, right? People are always waiting for permission, and it's like, no. You have the permission. Go out and share it and impact the world. And I just love empowering people doing that.
That's really good, dude. I love that. But yeah, I found people, it's like with their expertise, it's so common to them. so they don't see it like it's a superpower. But it isn't until you're sold on your own expertise that you create the perception in other people's minds that it is your superpower.
Yeah.
So you actually have to remind yourself, oh, I know way more about this than the average person.
Right.
And people would love to pay for this.
Exactly. And so that's what kind of sparked the Productize, right? Which is the one-person business blueprint for expert coaches and consultants, right? To productize that expertise. It's giving you the blueprint. So again, you say this too, is you're responsible for your awareness, right? So once you're aware that this is a possibility for you, now you have to take action. And that's the biggest thing, right? In this world, we don't lack information anymore. We're implementation is the thing that's holding us back. So what is the simple steps that someone can execute to showcase their expertise to try to help somebody and get a result?
So good. Is that going to be a big guy or an easy read?
It's a super easy read. It's probably like 170 pages, nothing crazy, but I want to. There's a certain limit you have to do to get a spine to get that, and so it's like double spaced too. It's a very simple read. I modeled the copywriting from one of the best books I ever read was Russell Brunson's Expert Secrets. He came out with 2 different versions of it. And then Myron Golden's book was the easiest read, The Boss Moves. So I kind of modeled those 2 books where it's just like showing people everything. And that was the unlock, which is like, and then Daniel Priestley saying, here's the easiest way to scale any business as an expert is one, start with the book, and then the certification, right? And then the product, the solution to that, because your customers then tell you the problems that they have. They hop on a call, you offer a solution to the things that they told you, and then scale from there. And then I guess is offer them an introductory event, right?
Yep.
In some capacity, VSL, webinar, challenge, all the same conversion mechanisms that feel comfortable for you. And then from there, ask.
That's it. Why do people make business harder than it needs to be?
Because the thing that's easy to do is also easy not to do, right? So from me personally, I grew up in the grind and the hustle culture. So when it feels too easy, it feels unsettling and like this is too good to be true, right? And I've been coming into this stage, which is why I try to share with these guys, which is I'm no longer looking for incremental opportunities. I'm looking for exponential ones, right? Right. So I'm really trying to shape and brainwash myself. The Price Pritchett, the quantum leap thing, which is, we're trying to work hard. We're trying to grind it out. But he says that a quantum leap is something that you don't try, you let it happen. Well, how do you let it happen? You look for the opportunities and put yourself in position, and then you let those things happen, right? Which is like one to many, coming on podcasts, posting YouTube videos once a week, right? And letting your customers find you from byproduct of posting content, right?
Yeah, so good, man. But yeah, business doesn't have to be hard. What do you feel like right now in this season is like your biggest resistance?
My biggest resistance is just really going like all in and like letting go of the agency. At some point, I'm going to have to let go of the agency.
When you say let go, you mean like put somebody in place to run it. Dude,
I
do not nip that thing.
It's just one of those things that like focus, right? It's putting all of my focus into this one thing. If I really want to be the best and I really care that I want to serve people at the highest level, I just feel like, at some point I'm going to have to just let that go.
Belief.
Interesting.
I feel like there's a human being that would run it better than you.
I mean, it probably is,
And
for sure.
And it would bless them to be highly compensated to run something that they didn't have to birth.
Yeah, and I can see that too because.
But you feel like your part that you play.
Yeah, my baby and that genius is would lose them. But here's the other piece too. It took me 7 years to build the King of Leads as my personal brand and results, and just handing that over to somebody that it could just crumble. And you know how fast somebody's. Look at all the people that's getting taken down right now just from reputation.
100.
There's some people that I wouldn't wish that I had people doing podcasts about my relationship or that stuff online. And so as fast as you can, your brand, as long as it took you to build it, it can go down so fast.
For sure.
They what did they say? They hailed Hosanna on Friday, and on Sunday they were saying stone them, right?
Yeah.
And so that's honestly, if I'm being honest, that's the limiting belief is putting it in someone's hands that they didn't help build it, that it could crumble and it can mess up my reputation.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like it staying alive it's going to keep you fresh. I find like the continuum in business. It's if I'm showing up and creating content, I'm able to test things in real time.
Yeah.
And then those findings, I'm able to coach people through.
Yeah, so you're saying that you're always teaching the cutting edge stuff instead of teaching outdated things because you're
it's
doing
like the barber.
thing.
I love it. Like the barber example. If the barber stops cutting, they will lose their edge at some point. And that's just something I've seen. I've seen people like, oh dang, I figured out how to do something. I want to now sell and teach people what I know how to do, but I'm going to stop doing it. But like life evolves and methods change. And like since I've started coaching, YouTube is a different platform. But people who started content coaching post-COVID and they're teaching methods that worked in 2020 to 22 because they had a lucky rise, that's why they can't get people actual results. But that's all. I mean, if it serves you in that way,
yes.
you know, because like even it is when I think about that being like your one-man business that is high profit.
Yeah.
It's like you have this in your back pocket
to
be able to connect with people on. It's like, no, you're not just teaching theory.
Yes.
It's like, this is actual like real life and principle based, and it works and it doesn't work. And I tried this with like, that's one of my favorite things to do.
Yeah. And so in that moment too is like one of those things that I'm always like consideration to open the mind of like weighing this other option of things that I couldn't see. Like, so for me, being so close to it, I couldn't see that part, but I can understand where, you know, you want to make sure you're always teaching a thing that's still relevant and working today. And that kind of keeps me fresh on the marketing side.
Yeah. And being in rooms does that. I got so much years of insight yesterday from just 8 hours of being in the room with.
Can you share one nugget with me?
Yeah, 100. Let's go. I'll share you I'll let you know what Russell came up with. So like Russell has this next level group called the Atlas group. It's I think it's like 75.
Okay.
It's a smaller group of people. It's more they try to meet in a very inspiring location.
Is it still in Boise that you got to get to Boise though?
No, with this group it's somewhere else.
Okay.
So he actually said the last one we just did was in Baltimore, which is like Baltimore. You brought your high-paying clients to Baltimore, and they're not clients. It's a mastermind, right? So it's like great minds in a room.
Yes.
And so the reason why I brought him to Baltimore was because there's this company, and that company was called. Do you remember what the company was called, Art? I wrote everything down in my notebook. I'll tell you what the company was called. Anyway, they make $1.5 million. They make $1.5 billion a year, all selling a $49 a year subscription. That's like where it starts.
They make $1 billion a year selling a $50 product.
Yes. And the way they do it was very interesting when he broke it down. And it actually, me and Myron had the same aha when he was sharing it. And that was this Agora
Publishing, yes.
Yes. So they have these personalities. They create these VSLs that are wide appeal, mass appeal.
Yes.
So Elon Musk is shipping out 15,000 robots to the United States. Like that's the 60-minute thing, and then the call to action is $49. They run ads to that. But like their personalities, that's all they do. Like they're almost like journalists. Yeah,
they're the marketing agency, the best marketing agency in the world. They got the best copywriters,
yes,
the best
all that.
Yeah, they're incredible.
So Russell's like, dang, like even the page they run ads to, it's a GIF. It's a hook with a GIF image, and then you click on the video and the video starts, which loads really well and like all that stuff. Russell was like, dude, I'm blown away at the idea that he's like, my problem is I keep changing offers. And then that messes with the team because like an offer has, fulfillment, an offer has an expectation of, sometimes if it's a lifetime offer, now we got to have customer support for that offer for lifetime. But he's like, why don't let's keep the offers the same and just change the way people get to them.
Yeah.
Now, Myron's like, bro, that's YouTube. Like YouTube, create content that has broad appeal and make a small ask. But where they really go crazy is in how they upsell in emails.
Okay.
And like what they
So
give
the
you
49 ask is an entry lead
to
like type offer, like a low ticket offer,
Yes.
basically. And then once they get you on the list and you're a customer, so the job is to acquire the customer first, right?
Yes.
Get them into Ascension, a recurring thing, and then to send them through emails.
Yes.
Okay.
And I mean, as basic as it sounded, it just when you see it that clear. But what was encouraging from my point of view is that I'm doing the right thing with YouTube. Like I've literally built my business that way with YouTube. Mm-hmm. Now the difference is in just it gave me more effort to put more intentionality with my podcast, which I guess we've kind of been coasting a little bit. I can be honest.
Well, sometimes it's good to coast, right?
Sure.
It's like
But the goal
that's
is
a good
consistency.
season, right? And the way I can see, I know how you built your business, which is your genius and your skill set allows for you to have some space for your life, right?
100.
Most people are, their job is competing with everything else in their life and
Right.
consuming and probably taking up most of the time and doing the thing,
Yeah.
which is probably the thing that I admire the most is seeing that skill, but also not just like overly doing it also, right? Like you have the healthy throttle, I guess, for that, which is like, let's go and like, let's get as many people as we can get in this thing and just stuff this program full of people.
Yeah. No, I
'Cause that's me. I'm like, dude, I'm ready to scale this to the moon. And then you realize that like the client experience kind of suffers. And so
100.
I had to do that too.
Something has to give, but that's why contentment is powerful. Meekness is power under control.
And that's tough in entrepreneurship
Oh,
too,
for
because
sure.
we're just, consuming as education, and then we see somebody doing something a little bit different. They may say they're getting a better result, so now it's like, oh, should I
You
be
change
doing
the whole
that in
thing.
my business,
Oh,
right?
no, dude. I was literally watching Russell. I was like, dude, you're worth $1 billion. Relax. Like,
Yeah.
But it was really cool how like clear it was.
Yeah.
But dude, when I get in rooms, I don't also like listen to the content. I'm like watching the people. It's not just
Like
what
the
they're
people
saying.
in the audience,
The people
or
in the
people?
room.
Okay.
Yeah, so like this room, Russell's thing is more mastermind than it is coaching. It's not coaching. It's mastermind, meaning
Like collaboration.
it's collaboration.
Yes.
The room was curated, and so we present, tell people what's working in our business, and then we ask the room like, "Hey, this is my biggest bottleneck, or this is where I want to go." Like what, and then the room helps, which is really cool because like Myron and Russell are there and
Giving you ideas from their genius standpoint. Oh, hey, you didn't think of this. Yeah,
100.
that's pretty good.
So I say that to say number one, I watch how Russell and his team do what they do, just even how they
How they run the
how
mastermind.
they run the
Okay,
mastermind.
okay,
I found like that is one of the most valuable ROIs on joining masterminds.
Okay.
Is seeing how other people run it, because if you do something better subconsciously or consciously,
Right.
it sells you on the value of whatever it is you're selling.
Okay.
So when I went to Russell's thing and I realized the first one I went to, and I'm like, oh my gosh, bro, I got my money's worth. Or dang, my offer is really good. Like the inner circle offer that I have is really good from a like how much Omar you get. And I'm not like ashamed of that. I pride myself in that, The other thing I found was, like my calls, dude. The inner circle calls, when 75 people are showing up on calls with their cameras on. Like,
Well, I can tell you from being from the other side of the experience too is the people say they don't gatekeep, but you literally don't gatekeep at all. And from going through a lot of the material, there's one video where you talk about the packaging, and that's like one video it's on YouTube, but it's in there.
Yeah.
Like absolutely insane. Because there's 3 of them. There's one guy that was with Think Media that you did, and you did one before that.
Yeah.
And you did one after that. That one after was absolutely a game changer. It gave me so much clarity on focusing on one part of YouTube that unlocked it because it wasn't working for me, which was the packaging part in the first 30 seconds.
Yep.
And I heard you say this before, but I didn't get it, which was like, if you watch the first 30 seconds and I get that right, then you're like, okay, we're good. And I'm like, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, because that's the retention point. Like most people, I don't know what the stat is. I'm sure you do.
Yeah, it's
but
like
if they watch
60%.
60%
Past the 30
past
second
the
mark.
30-second mark,
YouTube, it will be more likely and encouraged to send your video out because it's just like, oh, people aren't clicking away.
yeah. And so the thumbnail,
The
is
title, the thumbnail is for the audience,
and the title is for the algorithm.
bang, look at that.
See, yeah.
That's
That's
good.
how many times I watched it. I know that.
That's
and
great.
then the first 30 seconds. So I'm like, I'm talking to Elijah because we shoot on Monday and Wednesday. I'm like, this is really, again, it's really simple. I'm thinking that I need to script and I'm in ChatGPT and we're recording all these talking head reels. I'm like, no. We got 3 things that we need to nail.
Yep.
Right?
Clarity, credibility, comprehension.
Come on.
Yeah. So back to like watching people, dude. I would sometimes, I have moments where I feel guilty, and I always say I feel guilty. I think to myself, should this person be in the program? I have those thoughts, but it's because they're all starting from different seasons, and everybody has a starting from scratch place. Like some people are maybe killing it in their real estate business, but they have 0 uploads on YouTube, and like that's why I'm joining the program. Well, you're just as new to the person that's like never even sold anything, but they've been posting consistently.
Right.
So sometimes you would think that a higher level room with a
More expensive coaching price too. The higher barrier entry.
Art's my witness, bro. People are struggling, and I'm like, how'd you get in this room? I thought that, I get it, but even on a communication standpoint, I'm like, why do you guys suck at talking? You guys are CEOs.
Well, it's 2 different things though, because we talk about this too.
Good.
Which is the marketing side is a behavior that can be learned, right? You can model these like word patterns, and just as long as you say these buzz words and use this framework, you consume enough content, you can kind of recreate those platitudes. So that's why we kind of the coaches get this bad rap sometimes, because everybody's a good talker, not a good walker. But in that vacuum, they're just good at the marketing standpoint. They're not really, good at persuasion or communication. They're just really good at saying, if you say that same thing enough to enough people, somebody's going to buy from it, right?
No, yeah, there's a lot of that going on. And there's just a lot of people, I feel like, dude, the number one killer in business is boredom.
Boredom?
Boredom.
Like the person talking is boring?
No, like they get bored with their success. They want to try something new.
Oh yeah. So that's so in the beginning it's shiny object syndrome, and then for us entrepreneurs, we start thinking that everything we touch turns to gold, and you can do it better than them because we're at a high level, that we have shiny strategy syndrome.
Yep.
And when I heard, shout out to Richard Yu, he was like, once you get to $1 million, you're gonna have this shiny strategy where you think that you need to try and create this different thing. And so I'm like, oh, that's what's happening to me. And to your point, what Russell Brunson was saying, I had this lady named Jana come in and do an audit of my business, and she went and personally interviewed everybody on my team. And man, that 30-page document was painful to go through.
Dang.
But it changed my business and simplified it. It was because I kept changing so much stuff in my business. It was giving my business whiplash. She called it business whiplash.
Wow.
I kept changing and creating all this stuff because we're entrepreneurs. We should try this and we should do this. And so then my team that I had at that time, they stopped trusting me and going all in on the project, because they were like, I'm going to put all my sweat and tears into this project. And then as soon as I'm almost done with it, Arturo is going to come up with a new project, so I'm going to take my foot off the gas and just wait and do just enough until you change something. And so then they stopped trusting me in that regard. And man, that was tough to hear, but for me, I'm open-minded, so it was eye-opening. And so for like a year, I was like, okay, here's what we're going to do, and I'm not going to change this. And then that was a radical shift for me.
So good. Shout out to Homegirl. 30 pages. Good stuff. Bro, fire. I think this was great.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah. Squeeze the crap out of this thing. Yeah.